Sports on Tap is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group with Dobie Real Estate, Jason Stiltner at Flagstar Bank, Baldman Entertainment, Land & Sea Motorsports.
Buckle the fuck up.
Time to play the game.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Time to play the game.
You can't let that shit happen.
You play to win the game.
If we take a fucking tight end, I quit!
Cannot win with him. Can't do it. I want winning.
Time to play the game.
This week's edition of... You got it? Yeah. Welcome to this week's edition of Sports on Tap Game Day.
I clicked it. It didn't switch over right away, though.
I noticed that. I am Chris Scott, alongside Joe Waddell and Dan Yagnum. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm good if the fucking board will cooperate.
Especially after last week's fuckery that kind of screwed a lot of people, I believe.
I feel like this is a bad omen already, but last week was fucking brutal.
It was bad.
Bad week.
Basically everything we talked about. No, went the opposite. Yeah.
That happens with the NFL, though.
It does, man.
It's tough.
Other way.
There you go.
Thank you, Joe.
Hey, there it is.
Hey, hello.
There it is.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, it was a brutal week last week.
It's fucking snowing outside. Everything's going to shit right now.
We got our microphones fucking up on us. The board's fucking up on us. It's snowing outside.
I blame the Michigan weather personally.
100%. When in doubt, blame Michigan weather.
Yep.
That generally works.
I blame Michigan weather all the time.
Yes.
We're following in the theme of every time we do a show, either a Tuesday show,
It
every Tuesday,
rains.
every Sunday. There's some sort of precipitation somewhere.
It's always weathering outside.
There's some sort of weathering going on.
You guys do some kind of rain dance in here on Tuesdays that I'm not aware of or something?
We must.
I can't tell you how many times I've left here from the show on Tuesday and just gotten soaked on the way to the car.
Outside, man.
And you're walking like 10 feet, too.
Right.
So,
but it's usually a downpour
It is,
when we're
too.
leaving here. It's insane.
It's crazy. That being said, let's get into this crazy-ass Week 10 of games. You ready?
We have a good morning. Morning, Steve. Appreciate you listening, bud, from Baldman Entertainment.
Morning.
And
Morning, Steve.
and his own Baldman Entertainment and his own podcast,
Yeah.
Time Out. So check
Yeah.
him out. It's called Time Out.
Cool.
Love you, bud.
That's good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, let's get into these
Yeah,
games.
let's start hammering football.
Yeah, which will probably get all their fucking picks wrong and shit like that.
Let's do the foosball.
Don't put that out there, Chris. Come on.
Whatever we say, do the opposite, and you might win.
Well, based on last week,
Yes.
but up until last week,
Yeah,
we've been
all
pretty
right.
golden as far
Yeah.
as SOT and football goes.
Oh,
so
for sure.
I think everybody except for Vegas got slaughtered last week. So.
Right. All right. First off, we're leading out with Tampa taking on Washington. Tampa is laying 9.5, and the over/under is set at 50.5.
Yeah, and it looks like most of the money, 81%, is on Tampa, that minus that 9.5, and 63% is on the under of that 50.5 that you just said. 96% of the money is on Tampa money line. What do you got, Dan?
Now that we're kind of into the heart of the season, games are getting a little bit harder to cap. Just based on what you see week to week, teams show up and then teams don't show up. You saw it with Bucks before the bye; they got kind of embarrassed a little bit by that Saints team. The angle of Brady off a bye is definitely appealing. That being said, this line looks like it's moved about 2.5 points off the open, and both teams coming off a bye, I don't really see that much movement being necessary. Tampa is 0-4 on the road against the spread. That being said, Washington is 1-7 against the spread overall this year.
All right.
This is just one I'm going to avoid in general.
Oh, yeah.
I'll toss it up to Joe for some fantasy here.
Yeah, I'll tell you in this game, I actually really do like Washington.
I would take the points.
Getting the points in this one.
It's a big number.
It's a big number, and I'll even go as far as to say I actually like Washington with the points in this game. Not even if I had to take it, I kind of like that, and I think I'm going to add them into something here. I might play them straight up, add them into a parlay. I like that 9.5. I think Washington's good enough to keep within 9.5.
They were really the only team that gave Tampa shits in the playoffs last year too. Surprisingly enough.
Oh, and listen, you've got Antonio Brown out, Gronkowski out. You got Godwin as game time decision. There's a lot of things going on with Tampa, not to mention their defense is just not good anyway. So Washington just has to try and score some points to keep in this game. And their defense has been a little bit better lately. It started off the first half of the season. First part of the season was not good.
Not good.
And we all thought they were going to be good, right?
Absolutely.
And they weren't.
And they were just
Dog
bad.
shit.
Yeah. They're just dog shit. So I actually kind of like Washington getting the 9.5 in this game and keeping this game within distance. Speaking of fantasy, talking about Chris Godwin possibly being out, Antonio Brown out, Gronkowski out. I think a good crapshoot here, a good dart throw is Tyler Johnson at the wide receiver on Tampa. I kind of like that play in DFS. And if you're strapped for a wide receiver on your season-long team, he's not a bad pick up and throw in there. You might not be able to get him at this point because it's not a secret that Chris Godwin is a game-time decision. So check that out. I don't really see anything on the other side of the ball that really stands out to me other than I think Heineke McLaurin is a great matchup. I don't like the Antonio Gibson matchup. I have him as a sit this week. If you have other matchups, other players, I would go with something else on that one.
He's been frustrating to own.
He has.
this
When he's
year.
got that injury, which is a fractured bone, I understand that.
Playing on it, right?
Yeah, but I get that. But this Tampa defense against the run is just they're very strong against the run, and he hasn't looked that great. He's got the shin injury. I'd stay away from him if I could. And McKissick might get some passing yards, but I kind of try to stay away from him as well. I would just take a little bit of that passing game with Heineke, McLaurin, maybe even Logan Thomas is out. But who's the other tight end? Ricky Seals-Jones?
Seals, yeah.
Possibly him. The other side of the ball, Tom Brady, Mike Evans. You play them, right? I mean, that's a no-brainer. And if Godwin actually plays, if he doesn't sit out, you play him.
Yep.
Right? So I don't know if you guys got anything else on that one, but we can maybe move on to the big matchup.
Oh,
for
the big matchup.
The big one.
Frank's Detroit Lions traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Pittsburgh is laying 5.5, and the over/under is set at 40.5.
Yeah, and so this one's changing drastically by the minute. And it looks like it's about a 50-50 split here right now. Originally, this started out at 9, I believe.
Yeah,
Dan, if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
9.
around there, yeah.
So it moved about a point originally from some sharp bets. It moved down to about 8. And then now with the news of Ben Roethlisberger being out, it's moved down all the way down to 5.5. It was actually 6.5 an hour ago. It's down to 5.5 now, which that's a lot of movement.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
that quickly? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of movement. And when I look at this, and then I'll throw it over to you, Dan. I got a few thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
I look at this. This is a big movement for me when it comes down to you're putting Mason Rudolph in there instead of Ben Roethlisberger. But Ben Roethlisberger is not the Ben Roethlisberger that is a Hall of Famer, right? So he hasn't been playing well. So this isn't that big of a drop off to me to constitute this big of a downgrade of the spread, this big of a movement of the spread. I love Pittsburgh at giving up 5.5 with Mason Rudolph, and if you wait a little longer, you might get it less than that. And Mason Rudolph is basically equivalent to Big Ben now.
Yeah.
And you've still got that running game with Najee Harris.
Yep.
You've got some offensive weapons that Mason Rudolph can utilize. And this, to me, is a Pittsburgh matchup that I like. I'll give up the 5.5 right now. I'll probably wait and see if I can get it a little bit less than that, which it might move more. I just don't see this being that big of a drop-off as the public is seeing.
You nailed it on the head, Joe. You're coming off last year where Mason looked like the worst quarterback in the league when he came in, right?
Well, he was 0 for 1 last year, but overall he's 5-4 in an overall record, right? Which they got weapons. He's not that bad. Ben Roethlisberger isn't that great anymore.
But the Lions have weapons, too.
Well, they do now. They have Josh Reynolds, so they just signed him. So
That's all I've been told. This Lions, we got weapons. Okay.
Man. Sure. They're still going to sign OBJ too right here, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I wanted to see that just to see this season go completely off the fucking rails.
Right, and just let it come into next year too, and just keep the shit show
Oh,
going.
that'd be great.
Yeah, at this stage, you're right, Joe. I don't think there's that big of a drop off. Ben's looked like shit, and Pittsburgh's been getting it done without him. I don't see a big difference with Mason coming in. I was a little bit on the Lions before the Ben injury, just for the sake of the fact that Pittsburgh hasn't covered 8 all year. So when it was sitting at 8.5, 9 points, you're thinking, Lions maybe keep it close, a 20-13 kind of a game. Now that Ben's out and the Lions coming down, I'm definitely with you on Pittsburgh. Nice little tidbit for you too this year. Teams coming off Monday Night Football are 12-3 against the spread. Just another little perk for Pittsburgh. I'm with you on this. I think under the 7. I'm going to throw a little money on Pittsburgh myself too here.
Yeah, and so another one. I looked at a couple of like off bets here, some prop bets here. Mason Rudolph over 208.5
Interesting.
passing yards, over 208.5.
Now Claypool is out too.
Claypool's out.
Yep.
But you still got Deontay Johnson.
Yep.
You got Washington. You've got Freiermuth. You got Najee Harris who receives out of the backfield. 208.5 to me is
It's not a big number in the NFL.
It's not.
In a passing NFL. It really isn't.
It's not at all. I would throw some money on that one just for shits and giggles because 208.5 is such a low number in the NFL.
I honestly would take the under on that because I just think they're going to run Najee all day.
I mean that
I do.
You run that
miss a
risk,
lot of
but
Najee.
at 208.5 to me that's
low.
such
I get
a
it.
low number that
can
to
see
me
it.
that stands out. I'm like I have to throw some money on that just because it's so low.
I could see him doing something like 196 or some shit like that. Like, seriously,
with it?
just one something. Yeah, I could do like 196.
Well, I was under that same frame of mind with you, Chris. When Mike White came in a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I'm gonna fade this dude. His first game, it was like 246 or something
Yeah.
like that. He fucking shattered it.
he
Yeah,
did.
like first half. So
Yeah.
you just never know with these guys
You don't.
in a passing league. Unders are hard to take too because you're kind of just you're rooting for nothing to happen.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. That's.
But
I
for
think it's
shits
gonna
and
be
giggles,
right there. Yeah.
For shits and giggles, fuck
Yeah,
it.
go for it.
Throw a few bucks on it.
Yeah, and then so for fantasy purposes, we're looking at. I stay away from everybody on Detroit, truthfully, other than DeAndre Swift, and only because he's got such volume. Like
Yeah,
I don't
know
see-
Jamal.
Yeah, Jamal's still out, and I don't listen. If you have Hawkinson, you have to play him, right?
Right.
But I'm not happy about it.
No.
I'm not thrilled.
He's had one good game since first couple this year.
Yes,
and
I
it's
think
been
one
frustrating
good game
to
since
own.
week 2,
Yeah.
maybe 2 good games since week 2.
But he's a weapon.
He's a weapon.
I mean, he's not even a weapon really on a team that has nobody else to throw the ball to. So I mean,
Yeah, that's the thing too, and the guy's good, right? Don't get me wrong, but this elite level that he was
No,
kind of labeled with,
stop it.
it ain't there, dude.
no,
it ain't
let's
there.
let's bring that back a notch.
No.
And I'll be honest with you, when he was first drafted, I said Noah Fant was better than him coming out of the same fucking college.
Yep.
And I still think
He
he's
might
better than
be,
him.
yeah.
I
Hasn't
just,
been able to stay healthy, but
Yeah.
right.
Yes,
But
that's-
to me, he's still the better.
talent-wise, I think he might be.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to this game, on the other side of the ball, listen, you got Juju out on IR, which is has been for a while. You got Claypool not going to play. Deontay Johnson, Freiermuth, those guys going to be relied on in this game.
Yep.
And just because it's Mason Rudolph doesn't mean he's not going to be able to get them the ball.
I can say Freiermuth having a decent game.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I had him as a start for this week already. I loved him in this game already. And then with Rudolph in there, with possibly looking at some dump offs and some checkdowns, I like him even more in this game. I don't downgrade him at all.
No, you like to think anytime a rookie or even a backup comes in, you're going to get more checkdowns, more tight end passes, short passes, things like that.
Theoretically,
So, in the end.
overall, that's what you get.
Right.
I mean, for the most part. Now, sometimes it's not the case, but
Right.
for the most part, the average works out to where you're going to get more checkdowns, more dump offs, which again bodes well for Najee Harris. You're going to play him anyway, but you're looking at possibly some more volume here. You're run the ball a little bit more with the backup quarterback in there. You're going to get some checkdowns and some dump offs, maybe some screen passes thrown in there, which you weren't originally planning on doing because you want to throw that defense off a little bit, get your quarterback in a rhythm. So I love those plays in this game already, and with backup quarterback in there with Rudolph in there, I love him even more.
I think just real quick on Najee
Yeah.
too. Excuse me. Where do you have him going next year in redraft? I feel like this guy's got to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
With the volume and how he's looked. Granted he's only getting like 3 yards per carry a lot of these, but they're forcing him up the middle. I feel like that's only going to get better. And
Absolutely.
and opportunity is everything.
Well, and you would think next year their offensive line's gonna be a little better.
Gonna be
They're gonna have to address that
Quarterback.
Quarterback. They're gonna have to address that. I love him in redraft leagues next year. I think top 5 is definitely where he's going to go. And when you look at it, he's going to take the spot of a guy like CMC who's injury prone and who can't stay healthy, right?
Yeah.
He's going to take the place of a guy like Saquon Barkley who can't stay healthy, who was up there this year.
Yeah,
you're going
to take him over both those guys.
I would
next
too,
year.
absolutely.
Yep.
I would too. And anybody who took him this year in the second round got a steal in that. And of
Absolutely.
course, rookie coming in, bad offensive line, Ben Roethlisberger, who's like 80 with a walker. You're thinking, you know what I mean? Like you're thinking
with this hurricane.
you're thinking maybe not. I don't want to go too high on him. I don't want to pick him too high. But if you would have picked him higher than that, everyone would have laughed at you. But it would be paying off right now.
It would be.
So I think in the end, when you're talking about fantasy football, just pick who you want to pick and go with that. This is a good lesson to learn. Is take who you want to take, and who cares who ridicules you while you're drafting. Just win the league and then laugh on the way to the bank because you're cashing all that money in.
It's so much changes too from draft day throughout the course of the season.
Absolutely.
That,
Absolutely.
people that laugh at you on draft day, we'll see you in a few weeks.
Exactly. Moving on. Next, New Orleans taking on Tennessee. Tennessee is laying 3, and the over/under is at 43.5.
Yeah, and it looks like most of the money here is on Tennessee giving up that 3. And then over under, it's pretty even with 73% of the money coming in on Tennessee money line. Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this one of the games you picked this week or no?
This wasn't, but
No?
I had thought about it, and then I stepped off because I've gone back and forth so many times on this one.
I actually really like Tennessee in this one, giving up the 3.
It looks easy.
It does look easy, which is
does.
what scares me. But
Yeah.
It to me, it's one of those things. They still looked really good last week without Derrick Henry, and maybe this is the week they fall off because of Derrick Henry being out and missing. But they still look really, really good.
They might just be a really good team. They really might. I keep looking for a reason to fade them the last few weeks because of their schedule and these teams that they've been fighting against, but they just keep fucking winning.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard to go against them. A little caveat: they did, even in that win against LA last week, they had under 200 total yards offense.
Really?
But that was with 2 Stafford picks. Kind of one of them was in the red zone, I believe. Even Kamara's been kind of trending out. He is out for today.
Yep.
But even with that, I'm still seeing some Saints 2.5. So that to me just kind of it seems like that Vegas fuckery where where the Tennessee minus the 3 looks too good, and now you have no Kamara, you have Trevor Siemian starting for the Saints. Doesn't really look that appealing.
Trevor who?
Seaman. So if I had to pick, I'd probably go Saints and eat shit for it. But I'm gonna lay off personally. If you like the Titans at -3, I can't fault you for it. It's only a field goal, and they've just been fucking rolling.
And they're at home.
Yeah, and for me, this is probably one I would get down below that 3 mark, which we always talk about. I might just buy a half point down to 2.5 and feel comfortable with that because that 3 you could always tie and it's a wash at that point.
Right.
Yeah, you can shop around. I'm seeing some 2.5 somewhere. You might pay a little bit more juice, like you were saying.
Yeah, but at times I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm putting out a parlay where I'm going to buy points on everything. It boosts it up a little bit, but I personally do really like Tennessee in this game. I just
Julio looks like IR.
There's no Kamara.
No Camaro.
And you got Ingram in there, which listen, he's no slouch, but he's
not Kamara.
He's not Kamara, and he's about
Right.
He's about a year or two past his prime. So
there was a reason he was on the Texans at the beginning of the year.
exactly.
Right? So
Yeah.
anybody can look good for 1 week in the NFL.
Yes.
So I mean, I really am on the Titans in this game, but we'll see. I'm going to throw them in a couple spots there.
Yeah.
Looking at the fantasy aspect, obviously we just talked about it. Kamara's out, so you've got Mark Ingram going to take a sizable amount of the touches out of the backfield there, and I don't necessarily like any of the other matchups in this game on that side of the ball. Trevor Siemian, I'm staying away from that one. I'm kind of staying away from the Trevor Seaman.
Yeah.
Seaman.
Yeah.
Simmons,
Swami
Slappy, Swinson,
Swanson.
Oh, Samsonite. That was way
Samsonite.
off.
You almost had it.
Gotta love a Dumb and Dumber reference.
Oh,
But talking about Trevor Samsonite, I don't like any of the receivers in that game either. Then you know what I mean? Like this matchup is not good for me on that side of the ball, which is one reason why I'm all over Tennessee in this game. You look at Tannehill; he can still get the job done. There's no Julio, but AJ Brown is there. You've got Adrian Peterson, who looked like he was actually decent. The fact that he didn't play for half a season, he came in and actually looked pretty good. I was surprised.
He just He doesn't age.
He's a cyborg.
My God.
And then Jeremy McNichols is there for the receptions out of the backfield, third down. I don't think you're going to see a lot of great fantasy output in this game, but Tannehill's one that I would look at as a decent matchup. AJ Brown's a decent matchup. I would look at Peterson possibly getting you a short yardage touchdown, which helps in fantasy if you need that help at running back spot. Nothing on the other side of the ball, man. You guys tell me if I'm wrong here, but to me that's what I see in this game.
No, I don't see much either on that. But
New Orleans D has been playing a little bit better. Not that I'd be excited about him from a fantasy matchup. I just think they might keep him in this game realistically, Vegas-wise. But like I said, I can't fault you with loving Tennessee here.
Right.
Next up, we got Atlanta traveling to Dallas. Why do I feel like Dallas always plays all their games at home? Seriously.
Because even when they aren't home, they're still home.
It's crazy. I feel like they always play at home. But anyways, Atlanta taking on Dallas. Dallas is laying 8, and the over-under is at 54.5.
Yeah, and in this game, it looks like it's dead nuts even across the board as far as who you like as far as giving up or getting the 8. Over under, it's pretty close to dead nuts even as well. And then 89% of the money is on Dallas money line, which is kind of an obvious choice there. Yeah. I do like Dallas to win this game. That 8 points is a lot to give up.
Yeah.
Even to a not so good Atlanta team who still can score.
The qualifying for the playoff 7th seed wild card Atlanta Falcons, is that who you're referring to right now?
Yeah.
They're not as bad as everybody thought they were going to be.
You feel like they're a really bad team, but they're in it every week.
But they are.
They kind of are.
And they can put up points, and that's the difference. Is they're 4-4.
Yep.
4 of those wins are against not so great teams, but when it comes down to it, they can put up points and keep themselves in a game.
That's why I don't like that 8.
And I don't either.
Eight's a rough number.
If I were to choose a side in this one, and it's I would choose Atlanta.
Yep.
But Dan, I'm sure you have some more insight on this one as far as some of the betting trends, and maybe it might sway me, but I would swing towards Atlanta getting the 8.
Yep, I'm on the same frame of mind. I kind of wish I would have taken them earlier in the week when they were getting 9.5. Obviously, you can see that number has come down for good reason.
For a reason.
Because it's a big number, and Falcons have been playing well. They play a lot of close games. You got Matty Ice chucking for 300 plus a week every single week, and he's not even throwing to anybody half the time, but he's still getting it done. A trend that I really like this year, I've been following. Back-to-back road games are 23-9 against the spread, 20-12 straight up. This is a back-to-back road spot for Atlanta, so this is another thing that kind of leans me over to them. A little look-ahead spot for Dallas. They have a primetime game with the Chiefs next week. You have the Dan Quinn revenge angle. I do think you're going to have a little bit of a Kyle Pitts breakout here. And Dallas, they've just, up until last week, they've kind of had everything going their way. Got a lot of luck in a lot of spots. They have young cornerbacks. I can see them having a little bit of regression. And this Atlanta team's feisty. Give me the points.
Yeah, I'm on that as well. I 8's a lot, and Atlanta stays in games because they can put up points.
I do like the over in this, though.
And Dallas hasn't shown me anything. Have they shown you anything, truthfully?
No. If you do like Dallas, this is one where I feel like a tease makes sense. If you're starting at 8,
tease
take
it down
the 6,
a little bit.
get under the 3, something like that. But, I'm going to sprinkle a little Atlanta money line, too, just to get feisty with it today.
It's very possible they could because Dallas can look like dog shit at times. And, Chris, I actually agree with you there. I do like the over in this game.
Yeah.
54.5 is a lot, but both these teams can score at will almost, and neither one of their defenses is truly standout. So
I mean, Dallas's defense is better than it was last year because honestly, it couldn't have been any fucking worse.
It is, but you look at what's Trayvon Diggs, right?
Yeah.
So the guy leads the league in interceptions. I think he also leads the league in touchdowns against him.
He does.
Exactly.
Because he's one of
going
those
for the
he's
ball
very
and he's gonna get
aggressive.
beat, right.
He's aggressive. He's going to go for the move. He's going to go for the football, which means he makes that move. Sometimes he gets the interception. Sometimes he gets burned the opposite way.
Yep.
And that happens with that Dallas defense. They can get sacks, they can get interceptions, but then again, they also give up the big plays. So they're not necessarily a team that's going to shut people down. They have some good stats defensively, but they're not going to shut anybody down. They're going to let up some points here. And then looking at that, with Atlanta, I have Matt Ryan as a start this week. I love this matchup for him. I think it's going to be a shootout. They're going to have to throw the football. And like I said, Dallas can be had deep, and they can be had on big plays.
I mean, you saw it last week against Denver. No, Denver took him to the woodshed, man.
Yep,
They did.
And you've got Kyle Pitts out there who was no slouch. Yeah, he's a rookie, and yeah, he's up and down. But listen, he's nobody to scoff at. He can get past defenses. He can get out there and get his. You got Cordero Patterson, who is fucking Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
This dude is just unbelievable. Like what Atlanta has done with him this year has just been unbelievable.
Got a bunch of touches.
Yeah, he's getting touched. He's getting touched out of the backfield. He's getting receptions out of the backfield.
Touchdowns.
He's lining up at slot. He's lining up at wideout. He's lining up at running back.
He's all over.
Yeah, he's really all over the place. And then you look at the other side of the ball. I don't like anybody else there. So Mike Davis is a sit for me. Russell Gage is a sit for me. Maybe a dart throw with Russell Gage if you want to do him in DFS or maybe if you're really that bad at wide receiver. Right. You still got Calvin Ridley who's out with. I don't know.
Mental health
yet to be determined. I don't know. And then you have the other side of the ball, Dak Prescott, and he's going to have a full slate of weapons to throw to in this game, which Gallup is coming back in this game. You've got Dalton Schultz, who he relies on a lot now. You got a healthy Zeke, CeeDee Lamb, obviously, and Amari Cooper, who I can't go without mentioning them, but I think everybody fucking knows they're. I think you play everybody on that Dallas side of the ball. I like everybody in this game on that Dallas side of the ball. And on Atlanta, listen, it's Matt Ryan, it's Kyle Pitts, it's Cordero Patterson, and maybe sprinkle in Russell Gage.
Yeah, maybe.
You got to sit Mike Davis. That dude has been nothing all year, and if you're still playing him, God help you. You might as well just mail it in.
Sorry.
Just stop. I've dropped him in a couple leagues because I drafted him. I made the mistake of thinking he was going to have a good year this year, and I dropped him in a couple leagues already.
Honestly, those kind of drops are you always think about them for too many weeks. You're like, well, what if this guy, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, you're dropping fucking landmines for somebody else in your league because somebody else will grab them, and they're like, oh, wow, that's why Joe dropped this guy.
Yep. I just want to say we got a shout out on Facebook. Says, I consider myself a casual NFL fan. I'm so very impressed with the in-depth knowledge you guys have of the players all across the NFL. Good job.
We really don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
We appreciate that.
Sounds like we're fooling somebody at least, right?
We do appreciate that, and I'm glad our shenanigans are working.
Yes, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Moving on, Joe, your Browns going to New England to take on your other favorite team, apparently.
Yeah.
Frank.
Wow.
New England's laying 2.5, and the over/under is at 45.
Well, to comment on your first bullshit, I have pretty much transitioned.
Straight up full Browns.
Browns are my team. Yeah,
Okay.
the Browns are my team. I'm still going to follow New England because I was a fan of them for 20-some years.
Yes.
And it was because of Tom Brady.
Yes.
So, I was a fan of them for years. I'm still going to be. But listen, what kind of clothing do I wear all the time? What clothing do I wear all the time? What is my license plate? My license plate.
That's right, I forgot you got that.
I have the Browns. Like, everything is Browns. I'm a Cleveland
You
guy.
even were owning it while they were through their dog shit.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But then we'll get back to the actual game here. It looks like 62% of the money is on Cleveland getting that 2.5, which is the side that I'm on, believe it or not. Wow, shocker. Over-unders at 45, and it looks like it's pretty much dead nuts even across the board there.
Yep.
71% of the money is on Cleveland money line.
You like Browns today, I would assume.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And listen, I'm not swaying these numbers. These are the numbers. 71% of the money is on money line. I didn't bet that much on Cleveland to sway those numbers that much, man. So it ain't all me.
I I like the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm
here.
with you, Dan. I like the Patriots in this one.
I do. I look at this as more of a Bill versus Baker matchup, and this is one where I see them turning them over. I think Baker's only got 3 or 4 picks on the year, but I did already bet him to throw an interception today. Pats have 15 INTs on the year. For the same reason I'm thinking this is a letdown spot for Cleveland is the same reason I was on them last week. It was a good spot with the OBJ drama. NFL is a week-to-week thing, so now you're 1 week removed from that. This is a kind of a letdown spot for them. Especially they've been beating some pretty, quote-unquote good teams, and I think Pats are kind of floating under the radar. They don't get a lot of talk or buzz in the media.
They don't, which is odd.
Granted, they're not going to do much of anything this year with Mac Jones, but I think they're moving in the right direction. Everything that I'm reading online, I'm seeing everybody on the Browns, which puts me on the Patriots even more here. And last thing I got on this one, if Patriots do lose this game, they are still in the playoff hunt, but their odds would drop to like 30-ish%.
Okay.
So this is kind of
big game.
definition of a must win.
Yeah, it's a big game.
Well, and on that note, I think I look at this game on both sides. This is a tough matchup and a tough win for both. Like both teams need this
kinda do.
game. Cleveland has underachieved this year up to this point as well, and they had some drama as well. And both teams kind of need this game. And looking at it, it kind of bodes better for New England. They're at home in this matchup. If you look at the fantasy aspect, you look at the player aspect. So Nick Chubb's out. You still got Kareem Hunt out.
Yep.
And then you got you're down to Dearness Johnson. It looks like Demetric Felton is also out with COVID. So you got Dearness Johnson and maybe Jarvis Landry lining up at
You're suiting up for them today, right?
They like I
called
told
you?
I told you
They called you
guys
this morning?
they gave me a call this last week. I was too busy at work to answer the phone call, so I had to call them back. And we've been playing phone tag, so it's a little bit late for me to make it there to start out in the
Do you
backfield.
have a guy on the other line about some white walls, and you call him back?
Yeah. But in this matchup, listen, I think this is going to be a defensive matchup.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I would not look at this to be an over at
No,
all.
no, I'm on that one.
this is
Cleveland
gonna-
just generally doesn't play those kind of games normally. Neither do the Patriots.
They can, and so can the Patriots. But I think in this
Normally.
game, everything points to defense and run game on both sides because you got running backs from both teams out. New England's Damian Harris is out. Ramondre Stevenson might be out. He's not practicing. So you're looking at being down to like your third string running back on both teams. And both defenses are nothing to take lightly.
Yeah.
So to me, it's going to come down to the run game and defense, which is again why I'm on the side of the Browns. I think the run game is a little bit better. Dearness Johnson has proven he can go in there and rush for 100 yards and take over for a guy like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and still produce.
Yeah.
So I love that matchup for him this week. I think he's going to produce. I don't play Baker. I don't play Jarvis. I don't play Donovan Peoples-Jones this game because of the way I feel it's going to turn out, right? I mean, it's defensive matchup points to not so many points coming out of the passing game here. Same thing on the other side of the ball. Brandon Bolden's a decent play maybe. J.J. Taylor maybe. Possibly that defense. But other than that, I don't play Jacoby Myers. I don't play Kendrick Bourne. And I definitely don't play Mac Jones. I'm not looking at any of those guys as big fantasy outputs in this game. I think defense, run game, and you're going to get what you get at the end of that.
I got one last point on this game, kind of to hopefully takes a little more wind out of your sails here, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know the last time the Browns won in New England?
I mean, when was the last time the Browns had a winning season other than last year? So
Fair.
I mean,
That being said, it was 1992.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick was the coach of the Browns.
I mean, you're going to get a lot of those. You're going to get a lot of those tasty tidbits off of the Cleveland.
92.
Okay, so the Browns were dog shit up until 2 years ago.
Pretty much.
So it's like saying the Lions haven't done this since 1955. I mean,
yeah, but even a broken clock's right twice,
I mean,
in
with
the
some
same
franchises
day.
they don't though.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, with some franchises they aren't. Some franchises
Lions
can have
is never
no,
gonna be right. Never gonna be right.
With some franchises, that broken clock is still not right twice a day.
Fair.
It's just the way it works. With and the Cleveland Browns were on that level.
They were for a long
time.
Long time.
And listen, they still haven't proven they can get off that level. They had a great year last year at 11-5.
Yeah.
And they won a playoff game.
Yep.
Got that monkey off their back. That's great. But then this year they've come out and they haven't looked like people thought they should look. So they need to go out there and win a game that, maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Going into New England, that they haven't won since, 92.
92.
So,
There you go.
yeah.
Up next, Buffalo.
Your team.
Yeah, my team.
Yes, sir.
Buffalo taking on the New York Jets. Buffalo is laying 13, and the over-under is at 48.
Give me the Jets. So it looks like 61% of the money is on Buffalo minus that 13. Over-under is pretty dead nuts even on who's taking that. And then this is an obvious one. 98% of the money looks like it's on Buffalo money line. That's of course that's going to happen. It's Buffalo. They're playing the New York Jets, even though it's in New York. I'm on the side of taking the Jets in the 13.
100% with you on this one.
Agreed.
I don't know what the fuck is going on with the Bills right now.
Yeah, Chris, I want your take. This is your team. What's been going on the last 3 weeks?
I don't know. Their offensive line has been horrendous the past few weeks, and they're just not. I think Josh Allen has kind of regressed a little bit. I think he's kind of doing what Mahomes is doing.
Yeah, trying to get a little too
Yeah,
cute
I think he's
with
trying to
some
make
stuff.
that big play and all the time instead of doing what the defense gives him.
That's actually one of the lines. One of my notes that I have down here is that he doesn't like taking a lot of the underneath stuff
No, he doesn't.
that they're giving him.
He always wants to get it
the big
downfield.
play,
So-
and you don't need that all
No,
the time.
you don't.
I do have a tidbit on that. They have Dawson Knox coming back this week.
That's big.
That is big.
That
should
is
help.
big for that that underneath
Gives him
get
more
across the
options
middle.
there. Yep.
Gives him a dump off. He has had Cole Beasley for that, but listen, this team has. If you think back, when Dawson Knox was in there before he got injured, what did this team look like? They looked very good.
Super Bowl.
He was taking those dump offs. He was throwing it. Dawson Knox was getting points every game. He was getting receptions every game. He was getting touchdowns. So when you bring that aspect back,
Right.
And it seems to me like Josh Allen and Dawson Knox have a good
Oh, they do.
rapport in that
They do.
aspect.
They do.
So when you bring back his security blanket, I think you're going to see a different Buffalo team come out this week.
But I also feel like just losing one guy, your offense shouldn't regress that.
Agreed.
It shouldn't.
Agreed.
It
And
shouldn't.
the fact that it does, that's an indictment on
And
on
let's-
a
and
lot
let's-
of people.
yeah,
It's
and
an
let-
indictment on coaching, in
Yeah,
my
it is.
opinion.
Let's not act like Dawson Knox is some fucking world beater over
No,
here. This
he's
is
not.
This is a perennial guy that you pick up off your waivers every year. Just this year, it kind of all worked out until he got injured the first couple of weeks.
And listen, you guys know from watching football for so many years, sometimes that rapport is just there. It just happens.
It
It,
is.
just
It is.
clicks.
Yeah.
And to me, I try to analyze this team, analyze all teams, and I look at aspects of every game, every team. But looking at this one, to me, is this stood out to me as a team that looked really good, then kind of fell off. Last week was like the wheels were completely gone.
yeah.
Well, their offensive
was-
line last week especially.
And then
They were toast.
that offensive
Yeah.
line needs to block better
Yeah,
no
it was
matter
bad.
what.
Yep.
But in analyzing the games from this aspect, I looked at it, and the one glaring issue to me that was not there now that was there before is Dawson Knox. It's the security blanket. It's Josh Allen's guy that he goes to on the dump off, that if he can't hit the play to Diggs, if he can't hit the play to Emmanuel Sanders, if he can't hit Cole Beasley streaking across the on the post,
Right.
he knows where Dawson Knox is going to be.
So you actually have that
And
option.
by all accounts, Dawson Knox is a great route runner.
Yeah.
So it goes back to like talking about OBJ and Mayfield, right? The reason Mayfield couldn't hit OBJ half the time is because when he would look to where he was supposed to be, that
wasn't
motherfucker
there.
wasn't there.
There.
Because he was running his own street route somewhere. And yeah, he was waving his arms because he was open, but that wasn't where he was supposed to fucking be.
right, so Baker's not looking.
Right. Dawson Knox is always where he's supposed to be. And Josh Allen knows if he goes through his progressions, he
gonna
knows
be
where
there.
Dawson Knox is going to be, and he can fire it to him. So to me, that's one of the big things that stands out for me in this game is that you could see them starting to be that team again coming out of this game because they're getting his security
hope so.
blanket back.
I mean, they do kind of need a get right game.
They do.
And this is the Jets, right? So if you do need that, it's the Jets. I don't have much more to say about it than that. It's the Jets. The line opened at 13. Obviously liked it more at 13 than 12, but it's still, anytime you have over 10 points, it's a shit ton of points. And Jets are one of these teams that they do play better at home. They're 2-1 against the spread at home, and that loss was week 1 when they played with Zach Wilson against the Patriots. You can kind of throw that one out. They have beat the Titans straight up. They beat the Bengals straight up. And something I started looking into a little bit this year with some of these referees. Scott Novak is reffing this game. He's 4-0 this year for home dogs. So I'm taking the Jets with the points. I have fully intentions of, Bills winning the game, but with the
Yeah.
points, give me the Jets.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
I 100%
that 13
agree.
is huge. That's way too
Yeah,
much.
I'm all over the Jets at getting that 13. Then looking at the fantasy aspect of it, so I kind of went over the Dawson Knox thing. He's back, and if you have him as your tight end and you were filling in up until now, I'd plug him in there, man. I think since he's coming back, he's good to go. This should be a decent matchup all around on both sides of the football for these teams, even though Buffalo's defense is arguably better.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good defense.
I still think the Jets can put up yards and points in this game. I think you're still going to see they're going to have to throw the ball. They're going to have to get.
It should be Mike White starting again today, and he's looked pretty decent though. For the limited sample size.
That's a confident motherfucker. According to him, he should have been the number 1 overall pick.
Is that the kind of swagger this guy?
Yeah, I'm like, all right, man. You do you, brother.
Yeah, hey,
Wow.
and hey, if something
This guy's walking to the locker room, big dick
just
swinging.
big
Huh?
ball,
like,
big
all right,
cojones on this guy. But you saw last week too. Even if he went out, your perennial backup Johnson, he played to cover the spread. So hey, it's not about winning or losing. It's if you cover the spread.
That's
right.
right.
Listen, exactly. And when you look at the fantasy matchup, Michael Carter's been playing really well.
He
lately.
has, yeah.
We talked about it last week. Actually, is a lot of people dropped him early in the year because he didn't produce like they expected him to. But
Right. As a
with
rookie.
with rookies, you kind of push that determination down the road a little bit. You got to keep him on your roster and just expect to carry him for a little bit. And he's starting to pay off for some people that kept him on their roster for a while. Elijah Moore busted out last week.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that he was injured for the first part of the year, came out and he looked damn good last week.
He did.
So if you look at the receivers on that side of the ball, I don't dislike any of them. Corey Davis is a damn good receiver. I wouldn't say he's great, but he's damn good. And you got Jamison Crowder working on the slot. You got Elijah Moore who broke out last week in a big way. I like that offense to keep this game within reach and to put up some points. So I kind of like everybody in this game. Actually, this is a matchup where I kind of like all the matchups fantasy wise.
Total's sitting at 48, so I mean it's nothing to scoff at. You expect some points, and with Jets projected to lose by that many, they're going to have to be thrown to keep up essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, absolutely see that. Next up, Jacksonville traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Indianapolis is laying 10, and the over/under is set at 47.5. Oof. I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole.
No, I'll be honest with you. I'm not on either side of this one. You got looks like you got 62% of the money on Indianapolis minus the 10. 69% of the money is on the under in this game, under 47.5, and then you have 96% of the money on Indianapolis money line, which is obviously that's the smart bet. But money line, you're getting minus 450 on that,
Yeah,
so you're not winning anything.
Yeah, you're not winning anything.
I don't necessarily see a way to hedge this in my favor. I don't like giving up the 10, but I also don't like Jacksonville getting the 10 because they could get blown out in this game. I'm not on either side of this game at all. Truthfully,
Nope.
This is a rare one for
I
me.
would
Where
absolutely stay away from it.
But-
no, I'm good.
that being said, I picked the Colts this week as one of my picks.
You did, didn't you?
I did. Which is kind of odd for me with the big spread. I don't normally back teams with this high of a number. But
I actually forgot what you picked.
I kind of did too this morning. I had a pretty good day yesterday. I did a lot of gambling. Jags have won 2 out of 3, and against the Colts, they're 8-1-1 their last 10. So Jacksonville definitely does play them hard. That being said, anytime the Jags actually win a game, it's an auto fade for me the very next week.
Right.
Urban's all smirking on the sideline, looking like he's keeping his job for the rest of the year. That's an auto fade for me.
Looking like king shit.
Yeah, stop, dude. I'm good. I think the Jags will win last week. I think that was more about the Bills beating themselves, like we had discussed.
Yeah.
And this Colts team, they have Jonathan Taylor, great running back. They have a solid defense. So this is a team that's equipped to get a lead and then blow out bad teams with the defense and the running game.
Yep.
And the kind of thing that sealed it for me, as much as Carson Wentz pisses me off, his wife is in labor. Projected to pop it out today, and he told her straight up, I'm playing this game. And anytime I follow this across, all sports, NBA, NFL, etc., there's something to be said about that new daddy dick energy. when you go out that game.
That's awesome.
Motherfuckers ball out as soon as they pop out a kid that very next game. So give me Indy minus the 10 for the new Daddy Dick energy.
All right.
All right.
right.
I can't argue with your thinking on that one.
No,
I guess.
this is
science.
This is
It's
a new
science.
thing to me. So, all right.
How can you argue with science?
No, just watch. Anytime you hear about a guy about to pop out a kid, he's gonna have a fucking great game his next game.
right.
It happens.
I guess I'll have to keep an eye on that trend.
Yeah,
I
for
didn't
sure.
know that, but
Well, Bessy's saying start Carson Wentz this week because he's
Yes.
gonna ball out.
He's actually been doing pretty well.
yeah.
You know,
listen,
as
he
much
has.
as I hate his trash can ass, he
Yeah,
actually
you and me
pretty
both.
good.
Yeah, you and me both.
You two are big Carson Wentz haters.
We are 100%.
And with that said, he's been playing very sound football, though. Short of one very bad interception in the end zone.
Oh my god.
I mean, up
I
until
was on the right side of that game.
Yeah, you were.
I'm fucking sorry.
Yeah.
I picked it right. He fucked me.
sounds like you're not the only one he's fucked.
Hey.
But he's been playing very sound football lately. Like he's been hitting 20 fantasy points a game, 4 out of his last 5, and up until that bad game where you were actually on the right side of it, but despite the fact that he fucked you.
Oh, he was having a hell of a game.
And he was having a hell of a game. And until then, he had only thrown 1 interception on the season.
Yep.
And it's not like he's thrown a ton more since then. The guy is actually playing better. It looks like he's turning around what was to be looked at as a washed up career.
Yeah.
It's kind of looking like it's paying off a little bit.
I mean,
in that move to Indianapolis.
They're a good team, so that definitely helps
It helps.
them a lot. It helps, you know.
And having Michael Pittman Jr. out there helps.
I was going right to that, man. He has really taken a step forward this year, and he has come into his own. Carson locks onto him. He's a target machine, and then when you have Jonathan Taylor behind you, he's a top 2-3 back in the league. I mean, they're built to not let him screw up too much.
Yeah. Well,
essentially.
and listen, if you have Jonathan Taylor and you can run play action off of a guy like that, you're getting defenses to bite big time. And Jonathan Taylor is otherworldly,
dude, he's a
man.
fucking
I
beast.
just, he came out first couple games, he did not look very good. We actually made a trade for him after that third week in our big money league, and he has paid
Beautiful.
off big time.
Yeah.
Since then, he has been just on fire. I look at him. I got him ranked as my number 3 running back for the week this week.
Yeah.
As far as
about
overall
right.
goes, behind Dalvin and Najee. He's going to have a huge game. And then you look at Carson. I think I love Carson in this game. I love Michael Pittman Jr. in this game. I actually think this is going to be somewhat of a shootout.
Yeah, I see points.
And I see points on both sides here, which is one reason why I don't necessarily like that. I like Indianapolis in this game. I just don't necessarily like the 10 points because I think this could be a shootout in the opposite direction as well. I think they can score some points on Indy. Their defense is not shut down by any means. Trevor's been playing a little bit better. You got Dan Arnold, who is kind of taking over that tight end role there. And you've got James Robinson, who looks to be coming back this week off of that injury, who is big time in that backfield. So,
Yeah, and especially with the way that they closed out last game too, it's like they were dominating the entire game, and you let the Jets hang around and get that backdoor cover. So with the big number, that does kind of scare me. But Trevor Lawrence is banged up, and I think this is just a game that they control.
yeah. Well, for fantasy, though, I think it's big on both sides of the
Yeah.
ball. I like it on both sides of the ball, really.
Yeah,
Nice. Next up, Vikings, Chargers. Chargers are laying 3.5. Over-under is at 53.
Yeah, and it looks like 63% of the money is on Los Angeles, giving up that 3.5. And over-under, 67% of the money is on the over. 72% of the money is on Los Angeles money line. I'll be honest with you, I sway Minnesota in this game, even money line. I don't know why. I just have a feeling on this game. Los Angeles doesn't shut anybody out. They don't close the door on anybody. Their defense is really not very good. And if you get the Minnesota offense coming
And
out
that's the thing with Minnesota. I have no idea from week to week what they're
you
going to
don't.
be.
it's true, you don't.
It's tough.
But this Los Angeles Chargers defense has given up big points and big yardage.
They're getting gashed lately.
to a lot of teams. And you look at how many points you talk about. Cleveland is just not a shootout team. Well, Cleveland had a shootout with Los Angeles Chargers.
They did.
And Baker Mayfield put up a ton of yards, a ton of points in that game, along with the whole Cleveland offense. So this Minnesota offense is good enough. I actually like Minnesota money line in this game.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. This is a spot where this is tough because I do like the Chargers, but they haven't been playing up to their potential pretty much the whole last month. And this is a team where you like them on the road, but they have no home field advantage, so they're a pretty good fade at home. And with this Viking team, they seem like they're just in it. Every week, you know, it doesn't matter what the game script looks like. They could be running more, passing more, or have no yards, and somehow in the last 60 seconds, they're still in this game.
Yeah.
So for me, getting a 3 or a 3.5 when I think it's going to be a 3-point game, I feel like you're kind of playing with house money a little bit. Harrison Smith is still out. Dalvin looks like he is going to go. You know, you heard about.
Yep.
We'll see what's rolling down the pipeline with that.
Yeah.
But even if he weren't to play this game or down the road, Madison stepped up really well in his absence this year. I think Justin Jefferson's going to eat, and like I said, with the Vikings, you had that game against Detroit went to the end. They went to overtime a couple times this year. They missed a field goal to beat the Cardinals. Like they could be a 7-2 team, and their record doesn't portray that. So I think getting the 3, I think it's a field goal game, and I think you're playing with free money taking the Vikings today. And they're one of my picks.
Yeah, that's right there. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said there. Also, we have TJ Mack on Twitch out here says, what do you guys think about trading CEH to some dummy for James Conner last week? Feel like I really ripped this clown off.
I feel like that's pretty targeted.
I feel like that's pretty targeted as well.
Yeah. Let me just go out here and say that I was.
Wait, is that targeted at you?
It is. I was smart enough.
Is that in your league?
Is
this TJ?
It is.
It's TJ?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, TJ.
Yeah, I fucked TJ. I was smart enough to draft James Conner in 3 out of my 5 leagues, and I've unloaded him in all 3 right as soon as Edmonds died. So
Yeah.
that's just typical bad fantasy luck. I mean, he was touchdown dependent before, but now he's going to smash.
But now he's actually getting
he's going
all
to
the carries.
smash. So fuck you, Teach.
Yeah, I just want to say fuck you, TJ.
Because
fuck you, TJ.
Yeah, agree.
But anyway, your team is still dog shit, and you're in
Yes.
second to last place. So
Correct.
yeah, there's that.
Okay.
Looking at, but thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks. Go fuck yourself.
We appreciate you listening, bud.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
It was hilarious at the draft.
Yes.
When he did nothing but talk shit about
Oh
the
my
show
God.
and about me, but he kept talking about how he listens just to listen to me not know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I'm like,
Thanks
bro,
for the
you're
clicks.
You're still helping me. Like if you don't like what I say, it's great, but you're still helping me because we have sponsors because of people like you that listen. So
Perfect.
Thank you. Your listening and your watching helps me, and your hatred helps me out. So again, fuck you, TJ. Thanks for listening.
Perfect.
on to the fantasy aspect of the Minnesota game. I have Dalvin Cook ranked as my top running back for the
Yeah,
league.
he should eat.
Listen, this is a matchup against the 32nd ranked rush
They're
defense,
getting gashed
DVOA.
every game.
One that allows the most rushing yards per game to running backs. It should result in a huge game for Dalvin unless Minnesota decides to not run the football like they should, which
Mike
could-
Zimmer?
Zimmer, yeah,
I can
right,
totally see
right.
that.
Who
With
knows?
Zimmer,
Who
you
knows?
never know what you're
Still
going to
have
get.
no idea how that dude has a job.
I'm thinking after this year he probably won't, but we'll see. I'm with you. I don't know how that guy still has a job. My hatred level for him is not near on the level of some other people, but it's working its way up there. I'm not going to lie to you.
Hatred.
Yeah. Looking at the offense in this game, I think both teams can eat in this game offensively. I think you're looking at a big game fantasy wise on both sides of the ball. I don't really have anybody as sits in this game at all.
Yeah.
I think if you have guys in this game, fucking play them, man. If they're your best bets, play them. And I think this game could be a really high scoring shootout. Type of a game. I mean, the over-under's at 53.
It's high.
It's one of the higher games of the week. Expect some big fantasy points.
This is another of the back-to-back road spots that I've been looking at this year that have gone 23-9 against the spread. Vikings, another back-to-back road spot.
Nice. Next up, Carolina taking on Arizona. Arizona is laying 8.5, and the over/under is at 42.
I just want to say we got another one here. It says Mr. Long says, haters gonna hate. I enjoy the rapport between you guys. I even agree with you once in a while. Good job.
Hey, thanks.
I appreciate it. The fact
Once
that
in a while.
somebody agrees with us once in a while.
Once in a while.
Yeah, once in a while is all right.
Nice.
We'll
Take it. Yep.
So let's see. Did you? It was a Seattle game. You said
No,
no.
Carolina,
Carolina,
Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I got lost here. All right, looking at it, yeah. So it looks like 59% of the money's on Arizona minus that 9. 60% of the money's on the over 43. 91% of the money's on Arizona money line. Again, that's an obvious one, but it's minus 405 right now for the money line. You can't take that. Looking at this game, I'll even without Kyler, I'll take Arizona minus that 9. It's a situation where Carolina just
They're not good.
they're not good, and they're down to their third string quarterback. They just signed Cam Newton, who
He's not gonna. He's
Yeah,
not
like,
active
what-
today.
he's not active today. But yesterday, Matt Rule was talking about he probably not going to play, but he might play, but he's probably not going to play, but maybe he play, and
That
it was
guy's a
like
jokester, too, as
right?
a
Like
coach.
what? He's another one. Like I'm not even sure how he got the job in
don't
the first
know.
place, but.
Everybody's looking for the next breakout
McVay.
which just dude, it's not gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, I look at this game. I like Arizona minus the 9, even without Kyler starting, and he's a game time decision. So
The total's telling you he's not playing at 42.
Yeah, I
He-
was looking at what Schefter was saying. They're not.
He's not going to
yeah,
play.
he's probably
Hopkins
not
isn't going to play.
Right.
There's no reason for them to play this game. Carolina's not threatening anything in the division.
no,
That being said, I kind of like the Carolina points just because if it is the low-scoring game and I'm getting 2 scores, I do like that. Carolina is 8-1 against the spread as a road dog in their last 9. Yeah, PJ Walker sucks, but Darnold also sucks. So that line actually hasn't moved at all. So I don't really think there's a big transition in your game plan if you're the Panthers. CMC back.
Darnold was already out
He was.
before this week, so I mean that line wouldn't really move much at all.
Sorry, I meant look ahead line. Nothing.
Oh,
Yeah, nothing.
yeah.
Nothing changed, and I just don't think. I was hopeful for Darnold coming in this year, and he looked great through 3 weeks, but his competition was dog shit, right? So now you're seeing his true colors.
Yep.
He might not be the answer. I think we've all kind of figured that out. And CMC coming back, he should be pretty much fully healthy. One thing I did slam on this game, I haven't looked this morning, but last night his receiving yards was 39.5. He smashes that if he plays the full 60. So that's my favorite.
Who was that?
CMC.
Okay, yeah.
39.5 reception yards.
Yeah.
But in addition to Murray and Hott missing, Cardinals are really struggling with injuries too. They're missing 2 guys on the O-line, one of their top guys, potentially Budda Baker as well. So I just think it's kind of too many points for Colt McCoy to come in on a short week like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can't argue with that
No, I'm
at all.
with you on that one.
You might have swayed me a little bit. Fantasy wise in this game, I don't like a single solitary soul pretty much. I mean James Conner because he's
Volume.
he's going to get the volume, right? I mean and he's probably going to put up some points, but to me this doesn't stand out as a matchup that's going to put up a lot of points as far as fantasy goes. CMC got to play. James Conner, he's going to get volume. Murray more than likely out. Hopkins more than likely out. You got DJ Moore catching passes from Texas Walker Ranger, Walker Texas Ranger, or whatever his name is, and you got. I mean, it's
That's how bad Darnold's been. Is like you can't get DJ Moore, who's got some of the best hands and is always open, more than like 4 fucking catches a game.
well, and see. Here's one where I'll go a little geeky on you as well, and I'll look at it and say the coaching staff hasn't helped Sam Darnold out since week 3.
It's true.
Their blocking schemes have been shit. They haven't kept any tight end inside the block to try and help out with that offensive line. Christian McCaffrey went down, so the run game was non-existent almost. Chuba Hubbard didn't really fill that role as well as maybe he could have or should have. They kind of abandoned the run a lot, and were just putting the games on Darnold's shoulders. And he just wasn't set up to succeed after week 3. The first 2 weeks they played opponents that were not very good, and they had a better scheme, and they had Christian McCaffrey, who does set up the play action.
Right.
And when McCaffrey goes down, and you don't really have the threat of a run game, and you don't have good blocking schemes, and you don't keep your tight end in to help block, you kind of set your quarterback up to fail. And then that's how he gets killed, trying to run out. Run outside the pocket and try and make a play, and he gets literally murdered at the 10-yard line. So I mean that's I'm not saying Sam Darnold is the next coming of anything. I'm just saying after week 3, I think he caught a little bit of too much shit for things that weren't really on him. He had a lot put on his shoulders, and he's kind of proven he's not the guy that you could put a ton on his shoulders. He's more of a game manager guy at this point.
Yeah.
And I think he can manage a game well with Christian McCaffrey at running back and a good blocking scheme and a good O-line. But when you get rid of some of those things and you put it all on his shoulders, that's a bad move on the coaching staff.
It's not pretty.
Nope.
No doubt. Next up, Philadelphia traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. Denver's laying 1, and the over-under is at 44.5.
Yeah. Cool Sex Falcon?
What?
It's Nate.
That's Nate? He said you guys got sponsored by Bald Man Entertainment. I just had a legit laugh out loud with my morning poop. Yeah, we also are sponsored by the Joe Wright Group from Dobie Real Estate. We're also sponsored by Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank, and we're also sponsored by Land & Sea Motorsports. But, it's more sponsors than you have sitting at your home taking a shit.
Taking a poop.
And we bring in more money with our sponsors than you bring in taking your shit. So, all right, then.
Enjoy your shit.
Enjoy.
And again, Nate, thanks for listening and watching and commenting because all of that helps us
Right.
with our sponsors. Anyway, Seattle.
Nope.
No, Philadelphia,
Denver.
Denver.
Yes.
Philly, Denver.
These trolls are getting in your head this morning, Joe.
No, it's so mine is not lined up with
It's the
with
same
his games.
site.
It's what it's not though. The one I go to on the other one is not.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. So Philadelphia, Denver.
Yeah.
So this looks like it's 50-50 across the board here. It looks like minus that 1.5 or plus that 1.5. People are torn on that one. It's not that much. Over 45 is not looking good. You got 65% money on the under in this game, and I think that's more based on Denver. And then you got 67% of the money on Denver money line. I lean the opposite direction in this one. I actually think Philly can take this game outright. I like Philly money line, and if you're really just gonna take the 1.5, go ahead. Fuck it, why not?
I mean, you already know I'm on the Eagles.
Yep.
Because I'm a sucker every week for this team.
So Nate says, I wasn't talking shit, homie, just taking one. No need to be a dick. Nate, love you, bro. It sure sounded like you were talking shit. We kind of all took it that way, but if you weren't, no big deal. We talk shit all the time, so don't take offense to it. I that's just kind of what we do.
For this game, Vic Fangio was just way too fucking jacked after that win against Dallas, and I think they just came out with like a perfect game plan.
Yeah.
So they're going to be a little inflated coming into this week. They're still really banged up. Their interior linebacking crew is banged up. They're down 3 linemen. They're down 2 edge rushers, 2 inside linebackers, possibly 1 to 2 cornerbacks today. Teddy as a dog is a great number, but I do not like to take him as a favorite. And going back to the ref angle, Sean Hockley reffing this game, 7-1 against the spread and straight up for road teams. So give me the Eagles money line.
Nice.
Yep. I wholeheartedly back that pick for sure. Looking at this game, fantasy wise, this one's a tough one, bro.
Yeah.
You got Boston Scott who can look great, cannot look great. Does he get the carries? Does he not get the carries? Does Jordan Howard get the carries?
They're splitting a little bit, which is tough.
And then you got Kenny Gainwell who looked great before Miles Sanders went out.
And then
once
let's
Miles
not
Sanders
use
went
him.
out,
Yeah.
they just abandoned him completely.
And signed Jordan 38-year-old Howard. I don't get it, but
I think the only guy I look at in this game to definitely put up points is Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's just been consistent.
yeah.
And, Devontae Smith got a 27% target share, who, if you have him on your team, you're playing him. But listen, this Denver defense is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And I look at this one, it's probably going to be a little bit of a low-scoring game. I do like Philly in this game. I like them to win this game outright. And on the other side of the ball, I think this is a good matchup for Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon for that run game. I think this is going to be more of a run-oriented game, a defense game, kind of like I talked about with New England, Cleveland. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way that the Broncos want to come out and approach these games
Mm-hmm.
too. You know, I don't think that you're asking for Teddy to come down and chuck for 300+ yards. I think you want to establish the run and let your defense kind of roll.
You want Teddy to throw for 225 and,
Yeah.
and a TD or two.
No turnovers.
Yeah, no turnovers. Just manage the game. And with that being said, I don't necessarily like any of the wide receivers in this game. Maybe if you have to play him, you have to. But the guy I do like in this game is Noah Fant. I think he's going to be open over the middle a little bit. Philadelphia gives up a lot to the tight end. I see him having a pretty damn good game in this one. He's activated off the COVID-19 list again. It's an excellent matchup against the Eagles, who are allowing 19.6 fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends. So I like that matchup a lot in this game, along with the run game.
Nice.
We do have another comment, not to cut you off, Chris.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
So this is from Scuba Steve 024.
Scuba Steve, damn you.
Rest of schedule. Who would you prefer between Javonte Williams or Mark Ingram? Trying to trade Ingram to the team with Kamara.
I would lean Javonte Williams. I know it's a split backfield there, but once Kamara comes back, Ingram's going to slide down drastically. So for right now, yeah, he's getting a majority of the carries, but Kamara's not expected to miss it. He's not expected to hit IR, so he's gonna come back.
He says their counter was AP. I don't see the value to help them for AP. I would agree. I think I hold Javonte Williams. I think Mark Ingram might have value for a couple of weeks, but I think that split between Melvin and Javonte is probably going to trend more to Javonte towards the rest of the season.
It absolutely. So Javonte's only going to get more playing time, which has been proven since week one. I mean, his playing time has gone up. His touches have gone up.
You can see the splits.
The splits are it's still a split backfield, but they're leaning more and more every game towards Javonte Williams, as opposed to Ingram, who's just going to get those touches while Kamara's out. And once Kamara comes back, he'll get a few.
Yeah,
but he's not going to see that volume. I like Javonte Williams much more rest of season.
Well said, gentlemen. Well said. Next up, we got the Seattle Sea Chickens traveling to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Green Bay's laying 3, and the over/under is set at 49.5.
All right, so it looks like 59% of the money's on Green Bay minus that 3. And you have 65% of the money on the over, 49.5. 80% of the money is on Green Bay money line. This one's tough. You do have Aaron Rodgers coming back.
Is Russ playing?
You have Russ coming back.
playing?
So you got two quarterbacks coming back. Russ off an injury. Aaron Rodgers off of COVID.
I did see he showed up on the injury report. It was either Friday or Saturday with a toe. I don't know if that's anything major.
Yeah, he's got 10 of them.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna see myself out.
No,
Oh man.
sorry, that's just it.
Jesus
It
Christ,
bothers me
dude.
that the
It's
injury,
stupid.
The injury reports
It's-
say
it's dumb as shit, right?
He's questionable with a toe.
A toe,
It's
yeah.
like he's got 10 of them. What the fuck is your point?
It's
Like, what,
stupid.
is one of them hurt or what's going on? He's questionable with the toe.
He's got a knee.
He's also
Shit.
questionable with 2 arms and two legs.
right.
What does it matter?
I mean, you're not wrong. So,
But yeah, anyway, go ahead. You can analyze this game if you want.
I can't. I can't. This is tough, man. This is a tough game, and honestly, I'm just hoping this is a good one where you get to enjoy a solid 4:00 game and not be a shitter. The fact that it opened at 5, now it's 3 with Rodgers playing. That kind of puts me on the Seahawks, but I'm not fading Rodgers coming off COVID. The way that he's got the negative press after, I said I'm vaccinated, but I'm not, all that shit. He just seems like a guy that's
That was the funny thing about it. Like he
never actually said it.
Well, he didn't. The fact that he didn't expect to get like the feedback that he got from it. It was
What do you
just like,
think?
Really, dude?
What are you? Yeah, right. What do you think? What do you
really that fucking stupid?
What do you think's gonna happen?
Listen, you either got to be willing to put up with it and know you're gonna get it, or just. Well, and that's the other thing. That's kind of why he was misleading at first, is he didn't want to be the spokesperson for it, right? So I mean, that's why he was misleading with what he said. He didn't want to stand out there in front of everybody and say,
He saw the
"Hey,
shit
look
that
at
Kirk
me,
was
I'm
getting
not."
and the Vikings were
Right.
doing. He didn't want to fall into that
He
category.
wasn't willing to be out there
I get
saying,
it.
"Hey, look at me, I'm not vaccinated. Fuck you."
Right.
He made his choice and he wanted to just slide through with it, and so he was a little misleading with what he said to the media.
Yeah. That being said, this does seem like he's a fuck you kind of guy. So
He really is.
So
Yeah.
coming off this,
Yep.
I do expect him to ball out a little bit. So
I agree.
I'm not going to bet it. I hope it's a good game, but if I had to pick, I would probably take Green Bay.
Yeah.
Just because he's coming off COVID with 10 toes and Russ is coming off a real injury and it's a hand as a quarterback. You can't expect him to be 110%. Is he good enough to play? Obviously, but
Shit,
give
even
me
in
the fully
Green Bay,
healthy.
which I'm assuming it's cold.
It's
in
going to be
Green Bay,
cold,
right?
yeah. It looks like shit here. I imagine it's colder there.
Yeah.
I do think Chris Carson's back today, so that should help.
I heard he wasn't.
Seahawks. Okay, so that might be old news for me.
It might be because I last I checked, he was not returning, but maybe he is. Let's check that out.
Yeah. Nope, he is out this week. So,
Okay. Yeah, Collins gets to start again with
Yep.
Rashad Penny likely splitting, the workload there. To me, this one's tough because you have two quarterbacks returning off of being out, and Russell for more important things, right? I mean, his injury was significant. That finger injury was brutal.
Yeah.
And he's returning from that. You don't know how he's going to look. You don't know how he's going to feel. Listen, that was his throwing hand.
Yeah, right.
Is his grip on the football going to be the same? Is he
Right.
going to have to adjust that? Then you got Aaron Rodgers coming back off of having COVID, and he had some symptoms, not necessarily significant, but it's been proven that no matter what sickness you have, COVID or the flu or whatever,
it's gonna take a toll.
sometimes it takes its toll on you. So this is a really really questionable game on that front.
And real quick, two great
Yeah.
quarterbacks too. So it's like when they're playing against each other,
yeah.
and they're both coming in from similar circumstances. If it was one coming in off of an injury, whatever,
You side
it's-
towards the other one, but
Nah, it's tough, man. It's tough to cap.
yeah. So I kind of stay away from this game. Fantasy wise, you're playing all your big names, right? I kind of stay away from the backfields of both these, other than Aaron Jones, but AJ Dillon, I don't necessarily see that he brings anything. Alex Collins, I don't see he brings anything. Rashad Penny, I don't see brings anything. But if you got Russ, listen, you're probably starting him. He was your number one quarterback. You're probably streaming quarterbacks while he was out, so you have to play him when he comes back. Aaron Rodgers, kind of same thing. You've got Metcalf, Adams, Tyler Lockett. Listen, I'm hoping for a Tyler Lockett comeback, right?
Yeah.
Because
We need him.
we
we
need that comeback. But also, you look at it, and his numbers drastically fell off once Russ was out.
Besides the
And-
one game, yes,
right?
that we didn't start him. Yes,
Yeah.
that-
Besides the one game where he actually just gave everybody the middle finger that sat him because he was having so many bad games.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, listen, you're looking at him to have a comeback a little bit, and you're looking to. Hopefully Russell Wilson comes back and looks the same as he did. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers comes back and looks the same as he did. But it's all kind of up in the air right now. You play your big names and hope for the best. But this is one of those that I'll be watching and tuning into just to try and see how these guys are coming back into it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We also have another comment here from Nate. It says, "Proud of you, dude. Keep doing what you love. Wish you nothing for the best. Nothing for the best. Just love seeing two bald men sponsored by Bald Man Group." have a good one, friends. Nate, love you, brother. We appreciate you listening.
Thank you,
and
sir.
and you listen, man. No offense, we just fuck with each other back and forth.
Yep.
And I thought you were fucking with me, so I was fucking
Yep.
with you right back. But
Yep.
we do appreciate the love. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Next up, the Sunday night game. Kansas City traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Kansas City is laying 2.5, and the over/under is at 52.5. I'm just going to say it right now. I love the Raiders in this game.
Bingo.
100% love the Raiders in this game.
Bingo.
Yep. I believe we're all three on that side. We're not on the side of the majority of the public. 55% of the money, and that's a slight majority, is on Kansas City minus that 2.5. You've got 55% on the over, 52.5, and you've also got 53% on Kansas City money line. Chris, I think you said it, and I'm pretty sure this is one of Dan's picks as well. Listen, I'll take Vegas getting a couple points. I'll actually take Vegas money line.
Yep.
I love them in this game at home as kind of a get right game from last week.
Our place is going to be rocking.
Oh, yeah,
Ball is
absolutely.
going to be fucking rocking.
And Kansas City they're not Kansas City.
No.
And the
And
Raiders,
I don't know how else to put that. They're just not Kansas City.
And the Raiders are one like they kind of put the blueprint together on how to.
Yes.
They
beat
did.
this team.
Yes.
Yeah, last year.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they. I was going to say that they literally constructed their team to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They covered against both games against them last year. And Vegas just keeps making these lines like the Chiefs are the Chiefs of the last 2 years, and they're not.
It's crazy to me.
They're not. They're not covering. They couldn't cover against Jordan fucking Love last week. So I'm sorry, dude. I'm not taking the Chiefs ever. And especially against this team. I love the Raiders at home. I think, even without Henry Ruggs, I think Deshaun Watson's Wow. I think Deshaun Jackson's going to slide into that spot, and he's going to stretch the field a little bit. And I think Waller, Chiefs have been struggling against the tight end, and I think Waller's just going to have a field day today.
I think Waller feasts.
Derek Carr, he's an accurate, quick, get the ball out of my hands, quick kind of passer, and that's gonna work out really well against this Chiefs team tonight.
Yeah, I know this doesn't say much, but I have Waller as my number 2 tight end on the week, just below Travis Kelce. But that's basically just based on Kelce being
Kelce, right?
Right, but I think Waller very well could be the top scoring tight end this week with this matchup, the way it could play out. And Mahomes, I've said it for a while now. To me, that offense he's broken. That offense is broken.
Yeah.
And by saying that, I don't mean that he's doing anything he didn't already do. I mean, he hasn't adapted, right? So he was able to outplay teams with his athleticism and his skill set. And right now, teams are basically taking away the big play, right? Yeah. And they're saying,
We'll give you everything underneath. That's fine.
Beat us with taking chunk yardage.
Yeah.
Beat us with taking small chunks.
Yep.
The
right?
bend but not break kind of defense philosophy.
Exactly. And once you they can work it into the red zone, but once they work it in the red zone, so you don't have to defend too much once you're in the red zone, because the goal line, the back of the end zone is there, so you don't have as much field to defend.
That's like your 12th defender.
Right. So that's how you take away a team like this, is you defend everything deep, you defend all the big plays, you let them take chunks in short, and Kansas City can't do that, or they haven't proven they can do that.
That's been Mahomes' biggest problem. I don't think he wants to do that.
Well, and see, that's Andy Reid as well. Yeah. So Andy Reid, one game, got that run game going. One game. It was Darrell Williams.
Yep.
Got the run game going. They looked pretty good in that game, right? But he refuses to run the ball too much.
Yep.
He just trots them out there looking for the big play every time. Yep. And Mahomes is not taking the dinks and dunks and chunks. And same thing we talked about with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's
forcing stuff, getting too cute.
Exactly. Always looking for that home run. It's like, dude, you don't need to do that.
No. But for him, and when I say he's broken, it's.
Well, in comparison to
how he should be. So, he's broken in the fact that he's not adapting, right? So, you need to adapt at how teams are playing you. You were able to use your athleticism and your skill set to just outscore opponents, just up and down the field, right?
Also, he's got to deal with the fucking dipshit brother and his dipshit wife or fiance,
whatever. She's the fucking worst.
I think his brother's worse than she is. Honestly, really? I can't stand his brother. I've never wanted to smack somebody so much in my life.
I'm sorry, if you're not the talent, just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Shut up.
Like, the only reason why anybody knows who the fuck you are is because of him.
Right.
That's it.
So he's out there doing TikToks on a sideline for every fucking game. Yeah. First of all, if you do TikToks, you annoy the shit out of me anyway. Yeah. But I mean, if you're
CCP garbage. Sorry.
So if you're, I mean, listen, I was a huge fan of Mahomes. I was all over the Mahomes bandwagon before he even took a snap.
Yep.
But I've quickly become a hater almost of the Chiefs and of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Because and for Mahomes, for reasons of basically the Chiefs and their issues and what they do, and the fact that his girlfriend, wife, whatever, and his brother, and they're just annoying as hell. I just can't stand them. Mahomes needs to adjust, and Andy Reid needs to help him adjust. Neither one of those guys are helping each other out.
No.
Because they both still want to keep doing the same thing, and they're both basically it's not working. They both keep looking at each other going, it's going to work eventually.
Are you going to fix this?
You know what? You know what? We're going to keep doing this. It's eventually going to
work. It'll work.
They just keep telling each other it's going to work, and it's just not working.
I was tempted to say that, maybe some of these defenses are kind of figuring out the Chiefs over these past 2 years, but I really think it's just the Chiefs beating themselves more than anything else.
Because they're not taking what the defense gives them.
Yep.
Is they're still trying to beat them with all the big plays.
Yep.
And all the big chunks.
Yep.
And all the splash plays. You have to take what the defense gives you. And right now, they're giving you the underneath stuff.
So take it.
You have to start taking that. On the other side of the ball, I love Derek Carr in this game.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a big game for him. Darren Waller as well. We talked about that. I think Josh Jacobs finds himself in a cushy matchup here. The Chiefs are 29th ranked rush DVOA, and I think this is a good matchup for him. So looking at this, I think there's points to be had fantasy-wise in this game on both sides of the ball. I'm not necessarily like huge fan of the Kansas City side right now unless they figure out a way to turn it around. But you can't sit any of those guys because the potential is there for them every game. And they're so good. But yeah, I like this fantasy matchup, and I actually just love the Raiders as far as the game pick goes.
Absolutely. Next up, the Monday Nighter. The Los Angeles Rams and OBJ is debut with the Rams against the San Francisco 49ers. LA is laying 3.5, and the over-under is set at 50.
Yep, and my computer stopped working on me, so can you give the money amounts there?
Oh, yes.
It completely went away for me here.
Heavy on the money line with the Rams at 92%. And heavy on just the spread with the Rams laying 3.5 as well. Over-under is pretty dead set, 52% for the Niners and 48% for the Rams.
This is a game I'm not really interested in personally, but I do feel like Vegas is kind of asking you to take San Fran here because the line just seems a little low.
It does. It really does.
You know, I was expecting closer to a 5, maybe even a 6 on this with the action,
something like that.
Something.
Yep.
So the fact, and it's coming down too. So I'm seeing 3.5 this morning. It was sitting at 4 for the longest time. Part of the reason is Kyle Shanahan, even though I don't have respect for him as a coach, he does kind of own McVay. He owned him last year. Stafford is banged up, and you know, as people from Detroit, we're familiar with Matt Stafford, and the betting public necessarily isn't because he was on the Lions for his entire career,
right.
So they probably didn't watch many of his games and
didn't bet on him at all.
Didn't bet on him, and his back is acting up again. It's been an issue for years. His ankle's acting up right now. And I think some of these Ram fans are going to see, you know, Stafford in primetime isn't all what it's cracked up to be. This Rams team they look like world beaters one week and the next they don't. And
just last week they got
they got
taken to the woodshed by the Titans.
And I don't think they're not really built to play from behind, or at least they haven't shown it so far. When they play with a lead, they've been rolling, but besides that, they've looked off those other couple games. I think Kittle's coming back. And Bob Woods, even though the stats weren't there, him not being out there, he's a huge part of that offense. He opens a lot of things up, so I think that's definitely going to be hurting the Rams. You know, Monday night I'm a degenerate, so I probably will sprinkle it a little bit, but nothing I'm crazy about on this game.
No, if I were to lean, I would lean towards LA, but that's because
in theory they should be a lot better.
In theory, that
49ers
this
are
should
dog
be
shit.
Right. You look at this and Stafford had a dud performance last week. I actually have him ranked as my top, as my 4th best quarterback this week as far as this matchup goes. But he laid a dud last week. He took a shit last week on the field, basically.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much the first week in this year that he'd scored less than 16 fantasy points. So I kind of expect him to bounce back fantasy-wise. I'm not sure how that plays out as far as game-wise goes. I'm kind of like you guys. I'm staying away from this one a little bit. I'm not really. I'm a little bit of a degenerate too, so on Monday night I'll
the only
probably
one out there.
I'll probably do something on this game depending on how I feel on Monday night. But right now I don't feel strongly either way.
No. I got college basketball back though. So
there you go.
I'm good.
Nice.
It is a higher total too. You have 50. You know, I'm seeing 49 to 50ish, depending on where you're looking. So I could see some points being scored.
Yep.
Fantasy wise here, Joe.
Yeah, I'm kind of on some of these guys fantasy wise. I like Stafford. One of the guys I'm on big time right now is for DFS, and if you can pick him up, I have him in a couple leagues.
Van
already.
Jefferson.
Van Jefferson. At least this first week with Robert Woods being out.
Yeah.
I know they're looking at OBJ possibly taking that role, and Van Jefferson still being the number 3. But for this first week,
Yep. I agree.
It's not going to be OBJ. And
his shoulder's dead, and he's overrated, and
Right.
he's got to transition in the offense.
Right.
Van
So
Jefferson's been there.
He's been in this offense. He knows how to run the routes. He knows what plays to run. I really like him in this game, and DFS wise, if if you want to sprinkle him in there. He's real cheap still.
Yeah.
DFS wise, so you can spend up in a lot of other positions for that one. Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp, right? The guy. I got him ranked as my number 1 wide receiver for the week.
Every week.
I don't think that's ever going to change.
Probably not.
unless he gets injured. I mean, listen, the guy is just. He's been a baller with Stafford in there. So I think you got to play him. You're looking at DJ Henderson also as a guy who can get you some get you some good points in this game. And then on the other side of the football, I don't necessarily like the matchup with Elijah Mitchell, but he's been pretty solid up until last game. San Francisco's proven they want him to be the guy right now. They're not really having a backfield by committee, so Elijah Mitchell's a good play for you if you still have him, and he's been ruled good to go for this game. I don't necessarily like the passing game on the other side of the ball with Jimmy Garoppolo, but I mean, I'd be hard fought to sit Deebo Samuel because he does get so many big chunk plays.
Yeah.
I'd be hard fought to sit him, but
I think Kittle coming back. If you have him, if you've been sitting on him, you got to start him. Don't know what to expect, but I think in real life terms, I think he's going to open a lot of things up for that team. They're entirely different team when he's out there.
Well, if we're talking real life, I personally think George Kittle is probably the best tight end in the league.
Agreed.
If we're talking real life, real tight end. If we're talking fantasy production, this week I have him ranked 3. He has a chance to put up some points in this matchup to try and keep pace with LA because, by all intents and purposes, LA should be able to put up some points against the San Francisco defense. So he's a good play this week coming back. So
yeah,
cool.
All right. Anything else we got before we let everybody get into their betting Sundays and get into football Sunday?
Oh, let's make some money.
Yeah, that's good luck to everybody.
Yeah. Good luck, everybody. Hopefully what we said today will help you out a little bit, and we appreciate.
Hopefully it's not like last week.
God, I fucking hope not.
Knock on wood, bro. Shit.
So hopefully you can make some money off of what we said, and if not, we apologize. But thanks for listening anyway, and we appreciate everybody for listening and watching. And don't forget to tune in Tuesday night at 7 p.m. for our original Detroit Sports on Tap show. And then once again back here on Sunday at 10:30 for SOT Game Day. Enjoy your football Sunday. Peace out, folks.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.